The West Coast Eagles, I mean, it's nothing more demoralising than to see all your stars on crutches or in the medical room. It breaks your heart.
And it's led to this over the last couple of years of injury where they've actually won less games than North Melbourne. So North have won 4 of their last 30, and West Coast have won 3.
Wow.
And I just wonder whether it's time for some fresh voice, some fresh ideas at the West Coast Eagles. When you look at the key guys, yes, they've been unlucky and their season's over at round 5, which you hate, but I just wonder whether it's a comfortable place where it's time for some fresh voices, Damo. They've been wonderful servants, all these guys at their football club, but whether, like we've seen with Ross Lyon, Brad Scott, and then some, that we need some fresh
Still
voice.
2 years for both the CEO and the coach on contracts. Look, I'm with you on the need for a fresh voice, and I feel that a lot of their problems. Now, you need to obviously factor in the wave of injuries, which they can't control right now, but they were the big mopers of 2020 and 2021 when it came to those COVID years of football. Then they just had the disastrous season of last year, and now we get to this point where their body of work recently, and then here we go again. Now, I can empathise with what Gavin Bell is saying here as footy boss about the gather round being a disadvantage to WA. I understand that, and I would make that claim and that comment to private people in the AFL. But for that to be public again, to me, it's just another layer of this club looking for an out publicly when it comes to woe is us. And again, I may be in a minority on that, but I've seen it now for 3.5 seasons to this point.
Yeah, well, misery loves company. There's no doubt about that, and it can eat into your system. Yep. Whether or not it is, I don't know, but I've seen it plenty of other places.
And they're one of 3 clubs, as we know already to this point of a season, is just so uncompetitive. Extra game of football this year for each club to play, and that means there's now 6 teams, not 5 teams, that get double-up matches against really poorly performed teams. Now, teams that are expecting to, on what we've seen to this point of the season, make finals or be thereabouts, are going to get double-ups twice out of those 3 options there. Fremantle, Melbourne, St Kilda and Essendon. And again, Ed, I know you're big on this, but when it comes to fixture and match integrity, you've now got 6 double-up matches and 4 of those teams hoping to play finals.
It's incongruous, really, when you have an integrity officer goes after people for having a couple of multis, and I'm all for that. You're not allowed to bet, bang, bang, bang. But in the meantime, your fixture is fixed. And there's ways of looking at it, and whoever does come into the job that we spoke about earlier, these are the things that have to be looked at.
I mean, any team worth its salt will bank those 2 wins against each of those clubs.
There's so many things in that area of integrity that needs to be looked at, including, in recent times, we haven't spoken about what happened in recent times with the Jack Crisp photos and things, these things leaking out. I think the AFL handled it really well a week ago, but there's so much going on and everyone's in abeyance. That's why everyone's getting scratchy at the moment about all those things, taking it back.